There has been a dramatic and controversial announcement from the governing bodies in the game of golf. A topic that finds many prominent professional golfers highly criticizing the game and the impact it will have on golf as a whole. Never before has professional golf talked about making the golf go shorter. In this video, we'll be diving into the details of these proposed changes and exploring what they mean for the future of golf. We'll take a closer look at the backlash from some of the biggest names in the sport, so buckle up, grab your clubs, hit subscribe from your favorite golf caddy, and let's explore the exciting and evolving world of golf. The United States Golf Association and the R&A are proposing a new rule that would allow tours and tournaments the option to require elite men's players to use a golf ball that will be tested under modified launch conditions to limit the distance of the ball. The new rules, which will not affect the types of balls that recreational players can buy, would take effect in January 2026 if adopted. The governing bodies will receive feedback from manufacturers and others until August 14th. The governing bodies said the proposed rule changes would reduce the hitting distances by about 14 to 15 yards on average for the longest hitters with the highest club head speeds. USGA CEO Mike Wan and R&A Chief Executive Martin Slumbers said the changes, if adopted, would be used at its respective championships. The Masters, PGA Championship, and PGA Tour events also would have the option of using the rule. In the debates and the arguments that will certainly ensue over the next days and weeks that we'll all be a part of, I think we'll constantly find ourselves in this discussion about somebody saying, "Why would you do this today? The game is fine today." Juan said, "This is not really about today. It's about understanding the historical trends over the last 10, 20, 40 years. If we simply do nothing, we pass that to the next generation and to all the golf venues around the world for them to just simply figure it out." John Daly became the first PGA Tour player to average more than 300 yards off the tee in 1997. Tour players averaged 267.7 yards on drives that season. This season, Tour players are averaging 297.2. The governing body said hitting distances had increased by about 1 yard per year over the past 2 decades. It's our responsibility as governing bodies to propose change to protect the long-term integrity of our sport, Martin Slumbers said. Golf has become more athletic and technology has improved substantially, and it is the future impact that is the most pressing concern to the USGA and the R&A. This is primarily for men's professional golf, and all other golf balls, including those used by recreational golfers, would still remain consistent with where they are at right now. The idea of adjusting the club heads did not work, though, either. The second piece of feedback we heard is a rule change on the driver would impact multiple clubs, and the unintended consequence could be 3-woods or other clubs that perform better than drivers, and thus multiple clubs could need changing, Slumbers said. World number 10 Justin Thomas responded back at the USGA and R&A's distance-reducing ball proposal, telling media, "My reaction was disappointed and also not surprised. The USGA over the years has made some pretty selfish decisions," adding the proposal is biased, incorrect, and self-centered. He said, "They definitely have done a lot of things that aren't for the betterment of the game, although they claim it. I had some conversations with USGA members and I don't understand how it's growing the game. For them to say in the same sentence that golf is in the best place it's ever been, everything is great, but," and I'm like, well, there shouldn't be a but. You're trying to create a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. To me, it's just so bad for the game of golf, for an opportunity. I mean, some of the great things to me is that you can play the exact same golf ball that I play. I mean, that's cool," said Thomas. "For an everyday amateur golfer, it's very unique that we're able to play the exact same equipment. You can go to the pro shop and buy the same golf ball that I play or Scotty Scheffler plays or whatever. And for 2 of the 4 biggest events of the year, we're going to have to use a different ball? Like, try to explain to me how that's better for the game of golf." Thomas continued to say, "They're basing it off the top 1% of all golfers. You know what I mean? I don't know how many of y'all consistently play golf in here, but I promise none of you have come in from the golf course and said, 'You know, I'm hitting it so far and straight today that golf's not even fun anymore.' It's evolution. We're athletes now. We're training to hit the ball further and faster. And if you can do it, good for you." So yeah, as you can tell, I'm clearly against it. In addition to his clear annoyance at the proposal, Thomas suggested the game may reach a point where the players choose to do their own thing, regardless of the USGA proposals. I just think if it's going to come to this point, why are this group of call it 5 to 15 handicapped amateurs determining the rules of golf for professional golfers? Or why are they saying that we have to do something? So is it something where down the road, if you want to change something based off of your data that we feel like is pretty biased and incorrect and self-centered to what you believe in, then maybe we'll just create our own or we'll do our own thing? Bryson DeChambeau, one of the game's longest hitters and pioneers in increasing driving distance, is also not on board with the proposal to roll back the golf ball in order to reduce hitting distances by elite competitors. If you could say I'm the complete opposite times 1,000, that's what I would be. DeChambeau is one of golf's biggest hitters and has been the driving distance leader for his primary tour in each of the last 3 seasons. After joining Live Golf in the second event of the inaugural 2022 season, he led the Invitational Series with a career-best 327.1-yard average. He has worked diligently to increase his club head speed along with other aspects of the golf swing in order to achieve maximum distance. The 2020 U.S. Open champion is one of golf's highest-profile players due in large part to his power game. It's no surprise that he is against the proposal. It's a great handicap for us guys who have worked really hard to learn how to hit it farther, he said. Look, if they do it in a way where it only affects the top end, I see the rationale, but I think it's the most atrocious thing you could possibly do to the game of golf. It's not about rolling golf balls back, it's about making golf more difficult. He added, I think it's the most unimaginative, uninspiring, game-cutting thing you could do. Everybody wants to see people hit it farther. That's part of the reason why people like what I do. It is part of the reason why a lot of people don't like what I do. John Rahm has claimed the R&A and USGA are trying to make the professional game more difficult with its golf ball bifurcation plans as he prepares for this week's WGC match play at Austin Country Club. The world number 2 said, I haven't talked to anybody in the USGA to understand why they're so focused on testing all our equipment, whether it's the driver, the ball, or whatever it is. They're hyper-focused on making professional golf a little bit more difficult than it already is. I don't know why. Rahm also questioned the timing of the announcement given the changes to the PGA Tour and increased interest in the game in recent years. He said, my biggest question for them would be, we're in a golden era of golf where it's exploded since COVID. A lot of people are watching. You have a completely different tour. All these things are happening for the game and it's growing. Why change what's working? The 28-year-old also suggested there are plenty of other ways to make the game more difficult without altering the equipment. Courses like last week at Innisbrook. It's not too long and the score still held up. Colonial for the most part, unless it's a very benign week with the wind, scores are always higher than average. Hilton Head, same thing. Valderrama, same thing. You can neglect a lot nowadays as distance with different golf course design. However, Rory McIlroy recently changed his mind and endorsed what the USGA and R&A elected to do. For elite level play, I really like it. I really do. I know that's a really unpopular opinion amongst my peers, but I think it's going to help identify who the best players are a bit easier. I think you're going to see people with more well-rounded games succeed easier than what the game has become, which is a bit bomb and gouge over the last few years. Earlier, equipment manufacturer and McIlroy sponsor TaylorMade questioned the plans and revealed it is inviting feedback it can present to the governing bodies. That followed Titleist claiming the plans were a solution in search of a problem. I think making guys hit some long irons again, and some mid-irons, and being able to hit every club in your bag in a round of golf. I can't remember the last time I've had to do that, McIlroy claimed in an interview with popular golf podcast No Laying Up. We have come to the end of today's video. What do you think about the rule proposal made by the USGA? Do you think it's something necessary? Will the USGA be forced to revert back to the norm? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure to like today's video and hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications when we drop our next mind-blowing video.